First thing is too late. All the stress from my 9 to 5 won't let it faze me when it's Christmas time. Anybody told you nothing matters like it's supposed to? No heartbreak, no mistakes, no wrong. I'ma celebrate my favorite birthday, and even if I had the worst day, I know that there's better to come. Won't let nothing hold me down when I'm in good Christmas mood. Look at the joy I found. So Jesus, I'm thanking you. Yeah, 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 I'm thanking you.
I know I've been tripping, don't I? Even though I see you close by. Money looking real tight, I just wanna cry. It's Christmas time. I can't lose my joy over little things that don't symbolize your great love. Won't you please help me focus my eyes on you, Lord? Majesty, King of Kings, holy you are, I will sing.
Won't let nothing hold me down when I'm in good Christmas mood. It's just the joy I found. So Jesus, I'm thanking you. Yeah, I'm thanking you. Thanking you. Yeah, I'm thanking you. I'm thanking you. Yeah, I'm thanking you. Thanking you. I'm thanking you. Yeah, I'm thanking you. Yeah, I'm thanking you.
I see a lot of window shopping at the store. I talk about the Lord and then I buy some more. But that don't fill the gaps, it never has before. Get way too attached to things that we cannot afford. It's Christmas, I got my knees to the floor. With my arms wide open, Lord, rock me to my core, yeah. What's the point of holding on to things that fade away? I'd rather have you, Jesus, forever you gon' reign.
And all we want is you, and all we need is you. The trees and the lights, but we surrender our lives. And all we want is you, and all we need is you. The trees and the lights, but we surrender our lives.
Arms wide open, expecting nothing but you. When I give it all away, that's when I find the change. I don't have the words to say, expecting nothing but you.
Hey, yeah, it's that time of the year, so wifey play Mariah. It's a tradition watching Christmas Story by the fire. The meal ready, so we feast like kings. Am I the only one that put cranberry sauce on everything? Post-meal, food coma, then we watch the game. Googling what gym membership we gon' do again. The fam together, even those who think the opposite. We keep the peace as long as we ain't talking politics, but however you decide to spend it, I hope you get a chance to chill and remember the message. God gave us a son, that's the greatest present. That's the reason why we give him and get him the gift. Yeah,
All we want is you, and all we need is you. The trees and the lights, but we surrender our lives.
Arms wide open, expecting nothing but you. When I give it all away.
It's the advent of Cyber 2023, and we are on a mission to save Christmas. McReady, you are going down. I have the THM Army with me. Let's go. Yeah. I'm I'ma pop a shell, but not what you think. Who am I root? Make it dead a leg sink. We are on a mission, we're here to save Christmas. McGreedy's going down, forget about the riches. Rumors gone around, McSkitty's got snitches. It's an insider threat, and everyone's suspicious. Recon McRed is hunting down a witness. He says he needs our help, so power on your system. Get your black hoodie, boot up the attack box. Hackers come together and take command of the SOC. It's the THM army, McGreedy will get caught. From the 0x1 all the way up to the gods. And we are live. What is up, everyone? Welcome back to my live stream. My name is Tyler. I do have my black hoodie on, and we are on a mission to save Christmas every single evening throughout the month of December. We are working through Try Hack Me's Advent of Cyber challenges. These are challenges that are ready for beginners, kind of like full walkthroughs, but also learn things each time as we are on this mission of stopping McGreedy and saving Christmas. Want to say a special hello over to Jaso or Justin in YouTube. Yo, how are the classes going, my man? I know you started those, so let me know in the chat how those are going. And hey, whether you're watching on YouTube or Twitch or LinkedIn live while it happens, or maybe you're watching after the fact on my YouTube page, yo, it is truly an honor for you to take the time and to hang out with me. Without any further ado, let me share my screen. Actually, before even diving into the machine, guys, I have two huge announcements I'm excited to share with you guys. First, my first 8 CVEs have been publicly disclosed. I'll give you guys a sneak peek of them. If you go to the Rhino Security Labs blog, you can see the full write-up for just one of them. But long story short, I spent 2 weeks doing research and digging into some open source projects, and during those 2 weeks, I found 8 CVEs. This documents probably one of the most severe ones that allowed me to elevate my privileges to administrator, and then to do a full file read on the back-end server. You can see I'm reading etc password right there, and was able to get 8 CVEs for these different things. So if you haven't checked it out, be sure that you do. I plan on creating a video walking through the CVE hunting process, and I'm coming out with an official Try Hack Me room. What I exploited, the software is called Silver Peas, so my Try Hack Me machine is going to be called Silver Platter. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to be working on that probably over the Christmas break, so I can get that first draft done and submitted to Try Hack Me. So really excited about that. And guys, I got promoted. So I started a year ago as an associate pen tester at Rhino, and today I was promoted to career pen tester. So it goes associate to career to senior and then to principal. So I made it to the career pen tester role. I'm super excited about that. But our mission today is saving Christmas. So let me get this pulled up. We are learning about defense in depth. And so I know when it comes to defense in depth and blue team type things, the tendency of people who are interested in pen testing is to tune out. But I can tell you this, as being a pen tester, it is super important that we understand the blue team side of things for a few reasons. One is if you are doing a red team engagement, which is like emulating APT or an advanced persistent threat, and you need to be stealthy, you need to understand how is the blue team going to detect you and how can you bypass what the blue team is doing. So that's important. The other part that's really important is when you do a pen test, you often end that with a debrief. So you submit a report to the client, then you schedule a debrief with the client. During the debrief, you walk the client through step-by-step to that pen test report, and you have to answer questions about some ways to remediate it, some things they can do on their end, and you can only answer those accurately if you understand things like defense in depth and the blue team side of things. So hey, if you're interested in pen testing, interested in red teaming, and you're thinking about not doing this room because it's about defense, hey, do it. I promise you, it is super helpful either way. HunterBot over in Twitch said, man, I remember when you first got hired. It's already been a year. I know, dude, crazy. My 1-year anniversary, that may have been last week. So I think last week was the year. Crazy stuff. And thank you, Justin. He said, congrats on the promo. He said the class he's doing was great. They run Monday, Wednesday, Thursdays. The 4 main projects we'll be doing got me excited. Awesome, dude. Well, hey, Justin, maybe you have to start streaming on Twitch and sharing your projects with the world. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything on LinkedIn, since I always have to refresh the chat to actually see what's going on there. All right, LinkedIn looks good. Fantastic. Well, let's go ahead and dive into the story. As usual, I have not prepped ahead of time, have not looked at this room ahead of time. When I do try Hack Me rooms and Hack the Box, for the most part, I go into it blind. I do not pre-prep, and I share my methodology, my thought process, and my struggles as we do it. So let's dive into the story for today. Defense in depth. With the chaos of the recent merger, the company's security landscape has turned into the Wild West. Servers and endpoints, once considered fortresses, now resemble neglected outposts on the frontier, vulnerable to any attacker. As McHoneybell sifts through the reports, a sense of urgency gnaws at her. This is a ticking time bomb, she mutters to herself. It's clear they need a strategy, and fast. Determined, McHoneybell rises from her chair, her mind racing with possibilities. Time to suit up, team. We're going deep, she declares, her tone a blend of resolve and excitement. Defense in depth isn't just a strategy, it's our lifeline. We're going to fortify every layer, from the physical servers in the basement to the cloud floating above us, every bite and every bit. In this task, we'll be hopping into McHoneybell's shoes and exploring how the defense in depth strategy can help strengthen the environment's overall security posture. Learning objectives: defense in depth, 2 basic endpoint hardening, and 3 simple boot to root methodology. Even as I see this, one try hack me machine that I thought was really cool, a recent one that teaches you some of this hardening stuff, is called, I believe it was Bulletproof Penguin. So if you haven't done Bulletproof Penguin, be sure to check it out. It walks you through hands-on hardening a Linux server against common attacks and explains what's going on. So check out Bulletproof Penguin if you haven't. Would recommend it. I did do it, and it was a lot of fun. Before moving forward, I have the attack box started, and I also started the VM up here. So if you haven't done that, make sure you get those things started. And actually, so I don't have to keep scrolling up. Let me just grab this VN IP. I'm assuming we're going to need it, so I'll just drop it in my notes here. Nope, we don't need to update. There we go. All right, beautiful. The machine we'll be playing around with is a vulnerable by design Ubuntu running a Jenkins service. It has been configured for ease of use, allowing flexibility for users in exchange for security. And even when it comes to security, a big thing to keep in mind if you're trying to break into the industry is security is not the number one priority, which may surprise you, but the number one priority is the business itself. So when it comes to security, it's all about finding that good balance between business processes and security. All right, before we get started, we need to boot up 2 machines. I did that. Log into the admin account via SSH using the credentials supplied below. All right, so I'll show you how to do SSH, secure shell. It's a way to remotely manage machines, often Linux machines, but you can also SSH in a Windows if you install the OpenSSH server. And so we're going to open up our terminal here. I'll make this a little bit bigger for you guys so you can follow along easier. And what we're going to do is SSH is saying, hey, here's the protocol that we want to use, and then the user we want to sign in as, which is going to be the admin user, and then is @ and the IP of the machine we're connecting to. So today it's 10.10.44.232, and then we'll hit yes. And now it's prompting for the password, which is super strong password 123. I may have typed that wrong. How you type super strong password 123 wrong is, I don't know, but here we go. It's just too strong for me to type. I typed it right that time, I think. There we go. All right, so we're admin at Jenkins. This walks you through doing it from your own VM, blah, blah. Guided walkthrough of the attack chain. As discussed earlier, we're dealing with a server that is vulnerable by design. It contains misconfigurations and has been implemented with poor or simply non-existent security practice. This part of the task will walk you through one of the many ways we can get elevated privileges on the server. Let's go. Skipping the enumeration part, we can access Jenkins via Firefox on its default port. So let's go ahead and check this out. We will do it on our attack box here. Hi Dex over on YouTube said, big fan. Hey, thank you for the kind words. Appreciate it. Make sure I'm not missing anything on LinkedIn. All right, nope, good to go. All the chat is good so far. Let's check out what this Jenkins server looks like. All right, cool. We're greeted by a page that looks like this, which it does look like that. So getting a web shell, we instantly gain access to the general workings of Jenkins, explore the features that we can play with, and you'll see that there's a way to execute arbitrary scripts for administration, troubleshooting, diagnostics. And guys, one thing I'll just say, if you have a subscription to Hack the Box Academy, which I do, a really good module in Hack the Box Academy is, I think it's called Attacking Common Applications, and you go through a bunch of different common applications showing how to exploit them, how to get RCE on them, whatever it looks like. Ones that you'll often discover on externals, but especially internal pen test. So if you have a subscription to Hack the Box Academy, make sure you check out Attacking Common Applications. There's an entire section about Jenkins there that guides you through this process as well. So here we go. On the machine, click on Manage Jenkins on the left side of the page, which you can see it right there. And then I believe it's Groovy scripts, if my memory serves me correct, is what we're able to execute. And then we need to find our script console. There it is. It's a Groovy script, right? Oh yeah, all right, I'm right. It's a Groovy script. So we can execute commands, which you can imagine is going to lead directly to full RCE and a reverse shell. So let's read through this so I don't skip anything. Script console is a feature that accepts Groovy, like I was saying, a type of programming language for the Java platform. Let's jump straight in and try to establish a reverse shell using this feature. The example below is using an edited version of this script. So let's go ahead and copy this and let's see if we can understand what's going on here. If we pull up Sublime Text, come on. Is it not going to pull up? Okay. That's the one thing that annoys me about the attack box is the Ubuntu with the stuff on the side. And I notice sometimes the stuff doesn't like to pull up. Like what should be popping up right now is like the Firefox and stuff like that, but it's not coming up. And because I'm not, I'm in a VM. There we go. There it is. Jeez. Okay, so if we look at this, we're doing a string. So you think it's Java, so we have to specify the type. So we're doing a string and we're giving it our host. So this is going to be our attack box machine. And if you're using the attack box, you can see your IP right there. So we'll type in 10.10.194.52. Here's the port that we're listening on. This can really be anything because I'm an elite hacker. We're going to change that to 1337. String command, we're of course running bin/bash, and then we are doing this process builder. This is all Groovy type language, very basic way to get a reverse shell, and that's all that we're running. Now before we execute it, we of course want to start a listener, which I'm guessing is going to talk about. Copy the script above. Yep, okay, so let's go and get our listener started. We'll go here, we'll open up a new tab, and netcat MVLP 1337. I will go ahead and zoom in on this for you guys so you can see it a little bit better. And if we go back to, come on, it's really going to make me do it that way each time. Well, we might as well copy this before we go there. Copy, go over to Jenkins. We'll paste that in, and we will go ahead and click run with our fingers crossed. So we had a pause. That's always a good thing when it hangs like that. And look at that. We have a full reverse shell. That is awesome. So once both the reverse shell script and the netcat listener are ready, press the run button, which we already did. Getting the Tracy user and root. JSO said he doesn't know about streaming and couldn't keep up with the cool kids. You can do it, dude. I don't use all the cool software other people use. I use OBS, which is open source and completely free. You can pay for third-party software that makes it a little bit easier, but often you have to pay upwards of $50 a month to be able to stream in full HD into multiple platforms. If you just configure OBS properly and get used to it, then you don't have to pay anything, and you still have the same functionality as those paid platforms. That's how a hacker would do it. All right, so getting the Tracy user and root. Now that we have a web shell with the Jenkins user, we can explore the server's contents for things that we can use to improve our shell and perhaps elevate our privileges. And, you know, we could even do this without even looking at that. Let's see if I can figure it out on my own. So I see secrets and a bunch of stuff like that. What directory are we in? Do we have Python 3? We do have Python 3. So the first thing I like to do is stabilize my shell. Which I have it in my notes, but I don't have my notes pulled up. Here it is. So this is all we have to do to make it look like a little nicer shell. And so we will do user bin python 3. Okay, there we go. We still don't have environment variable set, but that's fine. And we're in this var lib Jenkins. And if I ls home, who do we have here? So we have Tracy and we have admin. I'm guessing I can't sudo because I don't know the password for Jenkins. So we'll just get out of that. Basic things you check when you get on a Linux machine here. But now if we look at keep trying to clear. If we look at the Jenkins thing, we see these secrets, right? So if I cat secret.key, we have that. That's cool. And cd secrets, is that a directory? Okay, and we have an instance identity key. We have some log information here. We have a config.xml with often you can find some creds there. Got no creds there. I'm guessing it has something to do with the secret. Let's see what steps it has us do here. Oh, so we're actually going to the strips. Gotcha. So we're not even enumerating the Jenkins configuration itself. We're checking backup folders. So if we look at this backup file, let's walk through what it's doing. Let me move this guy, though, so he's not in our way. Hopefully my face isn't in the way too much. There we go. That should be better now. So what is the backup doing? Well, it's making a directory in backup, and it's making the more directories in the backup folder, making jobs, nodes, plugins, secrets, and users. So we're backing up jobs, nodes, plugins, secrets, and users, and we're putting it in the backup folder. We're copying this. We have this wildcard here, which usually wildcards can be abused in these type of situations, but it's just copying everything. Then we're tarballing it up. Then we're sleeping for 5 seconds. And then you can see we're actually passing a password in clear text, which, like, when I would see this in CTFs, I would think, hey, that never happens in the real world. But guys, it does happen, especially in internal networks. You can imagine massive networks, massive environments. You will often come across just clear text credentials in like an SMB share or in a script like this. And that is how you'll be able to essentially take over the network itself. So seeing this, I always thought unrealistic. No, like I've seen it in the real world, just clear text credentials being stored like this in a script or elsewhere. So we have the user Tracy and we have the password, and we are using the password. It looks like we are using SCP to transfer files and then sleep 10, et cetera, but we have access to the Tracy user. I bet we could SSH as this user now. I'm guessing that's what we're going to do. The SCP client is included SSH. Yep. So we have SSH Tracy, enter the password. So let's go ahead and do that. SSH Tracy as 10.10.44.232. I'll go ahead and zoom in for you guys again. And go over here and grab Tracy's secure password. Okay, we are now Tracy. See if Tracy can do any sudo stuff. Oh, and we can do everything. So we can just do sudo su. And we're root. You guys see that? We are root because we can run any command as sudo on Jenkins. We can just switch right over to the root user there. And it looks like that's what it was going to have us do next. I'm just getting ahead of myself. Yep, exactly what I just did. Beautiful. Defense in depth in its role in hardening. From the attacker point of view, we were able to get straightforward root access to the server. This is bad news for defenders since the goal is to make it as hard for the attacker as possible to get what they want. In the next section of this task, we will establish defensive layers that aim to work together, with each layer making it more complicated for the attackers to achieve their aims. Defense in depth is all about creating defensible environments whereby security controls are meant to deter the bad actors from achieving their main goal. Notice that the emphasis isn't on never getting compromised. Rather, it's on making sure that the bad actors don't succeed. This way, even if one or more defensive layers get bypassed, the stacking alone of these layers makes it much harder for the bad actors, who will probably give up, honestly. Sometimes, yep, exactly what I was thinking. If the bad actor is just going through like Shodan and trying to find vulnerable targets, the moment you throw a layer or 2 or 3 in front of them, they're going to move from your organization and just jump to the weakest link. Now, not true about like an APT, like a nation state actor coming after you. They'll figure out a way. They'll work their way through it. But the vast majority of attackers, which are really just script kiddies firing off scripts at your servers, having 1, 2, or 3 layers is going to stop them in their tracks. Guided hardening of the server. Going back to our attack exercise from earlier, we discovered that root is very easy to achieve because there is full trust within the server environment. So, removal of Tracy from the sudo group. We should always follow the principle of least privilege. This is huge right there. especially for systems and production. I just want to highlight this. The principle of least privilege, we often think it applies to users or employees, which it does, but it also applies to systems themselves. Systems themselves should not be overly privileged. You should only have the privileges absolutely required to do the job. In this example, the user Tracy is made in such a way that it has the same permissions as the admin. This gives the user more flexibility. However, it also runs the risk of misuse, not only by the owner of the account, but also by others to gain access to this account, as we did. To remove Tracy from the sudo group, we use the following command: sudo delete user Tracy sudo. So we're running this super user, we're deleting the user Tracy, and then we're deleting her from the sudo group. To confirm removal, we can do that. Were we given admin creds? Oh, we logged in as admin initially. That's right. This one was admin already. Saying I could change the password of the admin with sudo. I forgot that we had admin creds anyways. So let's do sudo delete user Tracy sudo. Okay. And if she, whoops. She is not allowed to, but admin should be. So there you go. Tracy can no longer run those commands. So that is good. It won't affect current active sessions, so we can test them by logging in again as Tracy in a new terminal on our attacking machine. So if we go here, was it this one? Let's log in as Tracy again. Grab her credential from right here. Whoops. Look at that. Stopped us in our tracks. We cannot become root that normal, easy way. Hardening SSH. The path to root has been made more complicated for the attacker, but that doesn't mean we should stop here. Attackers can be very creative in finding all sorts of ways to accomplish privilege escalation. Any additional layers will make it a lot harder for the bad actors to achieve their objectives. Remember that as attackers, we were able to use SSH in this server to move laterally from a low-level user. In light of this, we can disable password-based SSH logins, and this is another key term to draw your attention to. When we are doing a pen test and we discover password-based SSH, we usually report that as an informational or a low finding because it just makes abusing it a lot easier. Instead, you should use private and public keys for SSH authentication, and hopefully limited to a specific IP or IP range for that authentication. So we can throw out the possibility of SSH login. Yep. And the admin shell, we're going to go ahead and go to that and edit using your favorite text editor. Now, a text editor I would recommend is Nano. Nano is sort of like Notepad, but it's in Linux and it runs from within our terminal window. So if we go ahead and do sudo nano etc ssh sshd config here, what we need to do is disable password authentication. I'll show you guys a trick. I think it should work in the VM if we do Control W, which is what I just did. Control W on your keyboard. It brings up search in Nano, and then we can start typing password authentication and hit enter, and it'll bring us right down to that. And what we need to do is find the line that says password authentication yes, and change it to password authentication no, which actually it's commented out. So we'll change this to no. Yeah, remove the comment sign, yes to no. Next, find the line that says include that and change it to include that. So let's do it again. Control W in Nano so we can start searching. And what we are looking for is include etc ssh sshd config.d conf. Okay, let's just do that again. There we go. I must have just typed it wrong. So we're going to find that and we're going to comment it out. So it's when we do that, it's just saying, hey, don't read this line anymore. Don't include this as a configuration. Save the file, then enter the command. Oh, I should explain what I'm doing there. I did Control X. That is how you save the file. And then it says, hey, file name to write. That's fine. We'll just hit enter. So Control X is what I was doing there. Now we'll do sudo systemctl restart SSH. This is just restarting the SSH service on the server. There we go. Now it should be restarted. In the example below, the egrep command shows what the lines within the file should look like. You can use the same command to see if you have successfully edited the file. You should see the effect immediately when you log out of Tracy in your attacking machine and try logging again via SSH. So let's just give that a shot. Look, I can't even attempt to authenticate with my password because we would need a private key that corresponds to a public key. It's worth noting that applying this hardening steps assumes that there are other ways for users to log in, right? Important. You don't want to lock yourself out of the server, and it usually involves a set up a passwordless SSH login. However, for our purposes, we can opt not to do that anymore. Stronger password policies. Another pivot point emphasized in our attack exercise earlier was a plain text password discovery that led to the SSH access to a higher privileged user. Two immediate things are apparent here. Number one, the password is weak and may be susceptible to a brute force attack. And two, the user employed bad password practices. Users never do that, right? Putting plain text creds on a script and leaving it lying around for anyone with the server access to see. Happens all the time. We can apply a stronger password policy requiring the user to change their password and make it compliant on their next login. However, it's solely up to the user to prevent bad password practices. I mean, it's kind of up to the user, but as the IT or blue team side of things, you should regularly be auditing your environment, both internally, but that's also the importance of pen tests. You should hire external pen tests to come into your environment and see what they can find. On the blue team, even though you have good intentions, the problem is you have that same thing where you're looking at the same system every single day and you miss stuff. So that's why it's helpful to have a third party come in, see what they can find. And I assure you it's better to pay for a pen tester to do it than to pay for a threat group once they ransomware your server. Furthermore, plain text threads, despite following a strong password policy, may still be used to move laterally with the web shell access that we got initially. Care really should be exercised when dealing with secrets, especially ones that belong to so highly privileged accounts. Promoting zero trust. Once we've applied all the hardening steps discussed, you'll notice that we're able to patch many of the vulnerabilities that we initially exploited to get to root, in terms of the attack methodology discussed earlier at least. We're back in the web shell that served as our initial foothold in the system, and it's accessible as a result of a Jenkins implementation that assumes full trust within the environment. As such, it's fitting that the last hardening step we'll apply in the server is one that promotes zero trust. And I just thought, guys, what are the flags? Okay, I want to make sure I'm not doing anything, and I'm gonna have to restart the machine. So we have the password for Tracy, right? We have that right there. Let me answer some of these questions now, then we'll keep reading. Where's the root flag at? There. We'll get that real quick. What's the error message? You try to log in as Tracy and try sudo after removing it. It's like, sorry, your Tracy isn't there. But we removed that login. What we can do is switch user to Tracy. Let's do it on this one though. Oh, did not mean to do that as the password. So that is the message. What is the SSH flag? I guess I'm not quite sure where that's at. Oh, it's in the actual SSH config file. What is the Jenkins flag? Okay, gotcha. Okay, we'll come back to that. Let's go back to hardening stuff. I just want to make sure I don't lock ourselves out of the machine and then have to redo everything to get the flags. Instead of opening up the workings of the platform to everyone in the environment, this change will allow just those who have access to the platform. In the admin terminal, proceed to the Jenkins home directory using this command. And all we're doing is changing directory to var lib Jenkins. And there we go. Here you will see two versions of the Jenkins file, config.xml and config.xml.back. Fortunately for us, the administrator kept a backup of the original config file before implementing the current one. As such, it would be more straightforward for us to revert it back to the original by removing the comment in the XML file. For reference, the comment syntax is signified by the exclamation mark dash dash right after the opening bracket and right before the closing bracket. Anything in between is commented out. Using your favorite text editor, access that and look for the following block of lines. So just like before, we'll use nano config.back, just like that. My Christmas hat is bothering me. And I'm assuming this is our flag right here. Full trust has no place in security. Let me just go ahead and grab that. Okay, now what are we doing on this? Deny anonymous access true. So that's all commented out, and that's our issue. We don't want to allow anonymous access. Remove that and that for both authorization strategy and security realm. All right, so we'll go boom, boom, boom. Like that, and security realm. There we go. After that, we can copy the backup file to make a new config. Let me turn off desktop audio so I don't get that silly ping from Ubuntu. All right, restart the service, sudo systemctl restart Jenkins. Once that's done, you'll see that unlike before, the inner workings of Jenkins are not accessible. It should be noted here that fresh installs of Jenkins feature a login page by default. So you have to screw something up to really mess up the configuration is what it's saying. Let's go ahead and check that though. Look at that. So we have a user page now. All right, just trying some default creds. Defensive layers don't need to be flashy. You can accomplish a lot with one-liners and simple implementations of security best practices. This is exactly what we have done throughout this task, addressing a specific exploitable vulnerability each time. The task is a simple demonstration of how it works in the real world. Each hardening step as a defensive layer, and these layers work together to make a more defensible environment. Exploit one or two and you're still relatively defensible. That's because the next layer is there to make it harder for the bad actors to succeed in getting what they want. Defense in depth doesn't stop here though. The next step is setting up tools and sensors that would give your defensive teams visibility over your environment, the output of which can be used to create automatic detection mechanisms for suspicious behavior, but that's a discussion for another time. Check out the SOC analysis path and SOC 2 analysis path on TryHackMe and security engineering path if you want to learn about that. I finished all of security engineering. I think I'm like 40% through SOC 2, but they are a good pass for learning the blue team side of things. The epilogue. Great work, team, says Mick Honeybell, her eyes gleaming with pride. We've laid down the foundations of a robust defense, but remember, this is just the beginning. The cyber world is ever evolving, and so must we. Stay sharp, stay curious. The team nods, a sense of accomplishment and readiness evident in their postures. They are no longer just reacting, they are anticipating, ready to tackle whatever challenges lay ahead in the ever-changing cyber terrain. McHoneybell grabs her jacket, her thoughts already on the next challenge. Tomorrow, we rise again. For now, rest well, team, you've earned it. And I think what we need to do is go check this out for our final flag. Get terminal pulled up. Nano that. That's where the final flag was, right? See if we can find anything that looks weird like a flag. There it is. Need to secure the secure shell. Copy that. Drop it in there. And yeah, SOC level 1, that's the path I was talking about. Complete. Ladies and gentlemen, we have completed day, is it 12? I don't even know. Day number 12 without any breaks, task 18 of Advent of Cyber. Thank you everyone for taking the time to hang out. Let me make sure I'm not missing anything in chat. Nope, looks like I am good. So hey everyone, thank you again for hanging out here. If you haven't already, check out the Rhino Security Labs blog for the 8 CVEs I publicly disclose a day. I will be coming out the Try Hack Me machine that gives you hands-on with some of those exploits in the near future. But for now, thank you for being here as usual. I will be back tomorrow night, same time, same place, as we are on this mission to save Christmas. So guys, thank you for being here, and I will catch y'all in the next one. Peace.